Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston and today is the news. We had an incredible weekend with the World event coming to a conclusion last night, and there was a ton of announcements to get through. But first we'll jump back in time a little bit to the first of the month when all of the announcements on the website came out before World. So there's quite a few things to get through. First off is Flagship in Japan is getting new winners promos. As you could see at the beginning, it's Vinsmoke Reiju, OP06, card 69, nice, is getting a new alt art, and it looks like this. So they'll be playing for that. Eventually, those are going to either come to Treasure Cups or regional events for us. Same thing with EBO1 Cavendish is getting an alt art. And as always with the flagship stuff, we are getting the filigree on the border. And then participation is a Sanji promo. But yeah, these usually come through, and I believe they're in Treasure Cups. Sometimes they end up in store tournaments. It's really weird. I couldn't find an exact one-to-one for recent ones because the topics just span too far back to fully grab it. But once they come out on the English side, I will update it and let you know where they're coming to. Next up is our starter deck 12 card list is updated. We're getting the starter deck, I believe, on the same date as OP06. That's March 15th. Right around the corner, so the card list is totally here. I don't think you have to worry too much about this. From what I've seen, the Mihawk makes waves in Uta, but other than that, this starter deck is kind of passable. But let's see if NA and the West can change that up and make this deck a little bit more annoying than what we saw it do in the East. The next thing up is starting March 15th, the release date of OP06 here in the West. They are starting our sealed pack play again using the full colored Luffy and getting sealed battle pack kits again, which is great because the sealed battle pack cards have been super limited to a single event. Which has put their price way higher than they need to be, especially with the alt arts not being out from the premium collection, which is the actors from the live action show. And then the winner card is going to stay the same, being the Sabo with the kids in the corner. This is OP04 Sabo, this is the Sabo, which is cool, giving those promos reprints and getting these to more people, because I know people want to play this Luffy leader and it's hard to get, and it's way too expensive for what a common leader should be. But with that being said, Worlds, it happened. It was really great. I watched top 4 not too many hours ago, and it was great to watch 3 Sakazuki mirror matches in a row. We got to watch a semifinal match, and then we watched 3rd and 4th place fight it out for their 3rd place spot, and then the grand finals, which was a best of 3. I will try to link the live stream in the description, and there was an English stream and a full Japanese stream. I'll try to get them both just in case you just want to watch the games and not the commentary or anything like that. But before that, before the finals, before everything, they released a ton of things, products and announcements, kind of like they do at any big event. They announce what's coming for the next year, what to look forward to, some products that are really close. And the most timely one, I would say, is the leader effect for our starter deck 14. This is the 3 days, 2 years Straw Hat Crew black deck that has been announced to be different than the current archetype that black is going down. So we'll have to see what that holds. But what we can do is talk about this leader effect real quick. This is Monkey D. Luffy, black leader, 5 life, 5k power, Straw Hat Crew, Dawn ×1. Give all your characters +1 cost. If you control a cost 8 or higher character, this leader gains 1000 power. So I'm assuming that a lot of these cards, and in OPO 8 and OPO 9, you're going to have black Straw Hat Crew characters that are boosting the cost of your cards, most likely just on your turn, just like the minuses mostly happen in the current stuff. But the goal will be to raise the power, the cost of your cards, so that you get effects. And this is give all of your characters, which is really cool. It's potentially going to be super impactful, where your cards are going to have to be a high cost to do things. It'll be really interesting to see what comes of that, what we can do with that. And I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of the same things. I'm curious to see how much it affects your opponent. Because right now, black mostly affects the cost of your opponent's characters. Probably entirely. I stopped paying attention to black when Sakazuki came out. It was just, and then OPO 6 happened, and yeah, it's something else. So we'll have to see how this changes black, and if we even work towards it and even try to play this with the current archetype being so dominating. And then you get into OPO 6 and you add Gecko Moria, and that's just, and I'm not even talking about the leader, I'm talking about the character card is ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to seeing the reveals for this card. It's coming out next month, so we're going to get a rapid shot of the 17 or so cards that are going to be in this deck over the next month. So stay tuned, we'll get into those as they come out. The next 2 slides we got here are prize cards for upcoming events. We got Ace here. This is the yellow Ace that just came out, but we're getting cereal for that in Japan. Eventually we'll come over to North America. And then we also got the Luffy from the current set, which I feels like it's recycled art, so it's kind of, it's cool. It's a cereal card. It's going to be very expensive and sought after. Only going to have 1600 in Japan, and then more or less the same in English. But this is they're not telling us how many there are here yet. That might be the reused art from the alt art too, now that I look at it a second time. But it is what it is. They're giving yellow its time to shine. They got 2 different cereal cards coming in the future. But that comes on the back of this huge announcement of the next 6 starter decks. 1 in each color. And from what I understood and what I could read, everything's all the news has been in Japanese, so I'm just getting translations. But from what I can understand, this is the 6 leaders that you see here are reprints of the leaders that we've already got. So this is the Whitebeard that we know about. This is Green Uta that we know about. This is the Dofi. I can go on forever here. So it's going to be reprints of the leaders, but with new cards to support them, which might be great if you like Whitebeard. Might be really cool for this purple Luffy to get some new stuff. Smoker needs some stuff. Katakuri never needed more stuff, but we're going to get it. But support for Uta is going to be great. This is what the first Uta deck should have been. Because we really only got like 3 cards out of that first starter deck with Uta, and then it was a bunch of reprints. So it'll be really interesting to see how many reprints we get in this and how many new cards. I'm hoping it's going to be several new cards, and it's not going to be mostly the cards that came out around it. Also, a few wouldn't be too bad, but like 10 reprints with like 3 or 4 new cards would, I feel like, be a big drag. And for Japan, they're all coming out at the same time. And the date's here, July 17th. they will come out probably 3 months after that here in the US, unless they start picking up. I was hoping to get an announcement that would say that starting at the end of year 2, English and Japanese were getting simultaneous releases. I didn't hear that. I wish we heard that. I know that Union Arena is going to start doing simul releases pretty early into its Western debut. So I would have liked to have heard that. I haven't heard anything like that. If we do get that, that would be fantastic. I'll keep my ear to the ground for that and hope that it's something that hasn't been translated yet. But let's look over here. We got a different picture of all the leaders here, which is really cool. We're going to get alt arts for these leaders. I'm hopeful, as always. I'm hopeful. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And in crazy news, we're not going to talk about OP08. We're going to jump straight to OP09 and talk about how the theme of it is going to be the 4 emperors, the current 4 emperors, that is, which means we're going to get a buggy leader and we're going to get a teach leader, and that's so exciting. It's 2 characters that one, we've been waiting for something to happen with teach for a long time, and since that one, we've been waiting for a buggy leader. So to get 4 emperor buggy, that's super cool. We'll have to look forward to seeing what the art is. I'm assuming it's going to be this art, so we're going to get Gear 5 leader Luffy, which I'm super excited for, and we'll see what colors they land in. With with Starter Deck 14 being Straw Hat Crew in black, are we getting a black Gear 5 leader, or what's happening there? Is it going to be purple to go with the other Gear 5? So much things that we can guess about, but we have a whole set 8 to get through before we even land at this set. So it's going to be a while. I believe this is an August release, so there is one more set between there. There's obviously OP08 before that, and we won't get this until the end of the year. So it's exciting. It's super cool. And I didn't allude to it at all, but at the end of the stream, the English stream cut off, so I had found this way later. There was an announcement which I am picking up as a ban list. This is for Japan. We'll have to see if English follows suit. Japan is way past us and right now, leading past into OP07. But after Worlds, losing Sakazuki is not an issue. We're happy to see him go for some time. The other 2 cards, I believe the English translations are Reject from OP06 and then Great Eruption from Starter Deck 6. I didn't get the explanation. We'll wait and see what comes out on the official website. I'm assuming it's going to come out within the next week. They usually drop news on Thursday or Friday. So we'll have to see if they do a breakdown like they did when Whitebeard was banned here in the US. And then I wouldn't jump to a conclusion and throw away your alt art Sakazukis. He's gonna come back, and your Sakazuki that you have now, your first editions that you got, are gonna be pretty special because when he comes back, he will be errated. So that not only did they announce a brief time in which he will be gone, but when he comes back, even if it's an immediate comeback, he's coming back with a new effect. So let me read this for you. Sakazuki, blue-black leader for life 5k power. Navy, activate main once per turn. You may discard 1 card from your hand with the type Navy. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn. So they combined his effect, so you don't have to attack to get the -1 now. You get it as a result of discarding a Navy card. So the deck's going to have to be a little bit more precise on how it ditches, but it's still going to be a good leader. I think losing the card draw is pretty devastating. I really think it's going to come back and be obsolete. It's not going to come back strong. the more I look at it, I was really hopeful. I'm like, great, it's getting errata. It's basically doing the same things, but on the second and third read, I keep looking at it here, and there's no draw power. That's devastating. It was the only one of its kind to do this so far, and it flew too close to the sun and came out the other side different, and he's just not going to be the same anymore. That's sad. I didn't like it, like you just heard me talking crap. But I think it was such an important thing for this game to go through, to have leaders that draw on effect. Even if they move it around, it's yeah, that's a bummer. I hope that it didn't discourage them from taking that out of all leaders, so that the next leaders that come out are not going to have any draw power included in them, or limit them to only on attack draw or something. And it's crazy that this game hasn't pushed further in those types of leader effects, because I feel like Dragon Ball Super card game way back had it, and I feel like the little bits and pieces that I've seen of Fusion World, the leaders have draw power on attack and stuff like that, which I feel like this game needs. We need just inherent draw power on all leaders. And losing that in Sakazuki is kind of grim for future card development. So I wish that it would have still had a draw one, discard one, especially because I believe the cost was to discard one previously, so you had to discard first, so if you had no cards in hand, it didn't activate. They could have kept that. But it did do too much, and it did really well for a long time. And I think it stayed relevant through all of the recent tournaments through 06. I'm blanking on whether or not it did well in the beginning of OP07, but it's only been a few weeks now, and I haven't followed recent flagships or anything. So I don't know if it was still dominating that far down the line. But all of that being said, I'm very curious to see if the West is going to follow suit with this ban list, which would ban a card that hasn't even come out yet here in the West with Reject, the yellow event card. Or if they're going to go even stricter. I mean, we had ban lists before Japan did, and there's still cards on the ban list with Boat and I think it's Cabbage. So we'll have to see if we follow suit and we lose Sakazuki for the OP06 meta, which would really shake it up into a very still heavy black meta with Moria and Perona. But we would lose a major corner of that meta with Sakazuki. But I am rambling about this loss for us. Rest in pieces, Sakazuki. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to get more One Piece TCG content, hit that subscribe. And until next time, peace.